Everyone in this small Ohio town knew Eleanor Brooks for one thing. She was always calm. No matter what went wrong, no matter how hard life hit, what no one really knew was how much it cost her to learn that calm. In a small town, tucked away in rural Ohio, where people still waved from their driveways and grocery clerks knew your name, lived an elderly woman named Eleanor Brooks. Her house sat near the end of Pine Street, modest and a little weather-worn, but always welcoming. People said there was something about that place that made you feel lighter, like stress didn't follow you inside. Eleanor wasn't rich. She wasn't famous. But somehow, everyone trusted her. When life felt messy, job stress, family drama, bad decisions, people ended up on her porch, coffee in hand, asking for advice. And what puzzled them most was this. No matter what happened, Eleanor always seemed calm. Not fake smiling calm, real calm. One afternoon, a young man named Jake Turner stopped by. Jake was in his mid-20s, worn out already, feeling like life was moving faster than he could keep up. After a few minutes of small talk, he finally asked what had been bugging him for weeks. "Eleanor," he said, "I gotta ask, how are you always so positive? Stuff goes wrong nonstop. Don't you ever feel crushed?" Eleanor smiled and leaned back in her chair. "Oh, sweetheart," she said, "life's full of ups and downs. Some days are smooth, other days hit like a freight train." Jake frowned. "Then, how do you stay happy?" She looked at him carefully before answering. "Because happiness doesn't come from what happens around you. It comes from how you choose to respond." Jake shook his head. "That sounds nice, but real life doesn't work like that." Eleanor chuckled softly. "It didn't sound real to me either, until life forced me to learn it the hard way." She paused, her smile fading just enough to hint at a story she rarely told. "If you've got a minute," she said, "I'll tell you how I figured it out." Eleanor folded her hands in her lap and looked out toward the quiet street, as if the past was parked right there across the road. "When I was younger," she began, "my life looked pretty ordinary, and honestly, I thought ordinary meant safe. Back then, she lived in the same town, just a few blocks away. She had a husband named Robert, a steady job at a local office, and 2 kids who argued over the TV remote every night. Money was tight, but the house was full of noise, full of routines, full of plans for the future. We weren't living large," Eleanor said, "but we were okay, and I figured okay was permanent. Then Robert got sick. At first, it was little things," she explained. "Always tired, losing weight. We kept telling ourselves it was stress. Doctor visits turned into tests. Tests turned into bills. Insurance barely kept up, and every envelope in the mailbox made her stomach drop. We tried everything," she said quietly. "Extra hours, borrowed money, even a fundraiser at the church. It wasn't enough. Robert passed away on a cold morning in late November." Eleanor said the silence afterward felt unreal, like the house itself didn't know how to breathe anymore. "I remember thinking, that's it. Happiness was something I already used up," she admitted. "Like it had an expiration date." She cried constantly, not just for Robert, but for the future she thought they were supposed to have. Nights were the worst. The kids slept, the house stayed awake. Jake listened without interrupting, his chest tight. "For a long time," Eleanor said, "I thought staying sad was the only honest thing I could do." She paused, then added, "But that belief almost cost me more than I'd already lost." She turned back toward Jake. "And that's when something happened that forced me to rethink everything." Eleanor took a slow breath before continuing. "What finally shook me," she said, "wasn't my own pain. It was my kids." After Robert's death, she did everything she could to hold life together. She packed lunches, paid bills, got them to school on time. From the outside, it probably looked like she was managing. Inside, though, she felt hollow. Every day blended into the next. "One night," she said, "my daughter came into the kitchen and asked me if it was wrong to laugh anymore." That question stopped Eleanor cold. "In that moment, I realized they were learning from me," she said, "not from what I told them, but from how I lived. If she stayed buried in sadness forever, her children would grow up believing pain was something you never came back from. So I made a choice," Eleanor said, "not to be happy all the time, just to not let sadness run my whole life. She started small, really small. Every morning before the kids woke up, she sat at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee and asked herself one simple question: what's one thing that's still okay today? Some mornings the answer came easy. Other mornings it felt forced. Some days all I had was the sun came up, she admitted, and that had to be enough. At first it felt pointless, almost disrespectful to her grief. She kept doing it anyway. Over time, something shifted. She didn't stop missing Robert. She noticed moments when she felt lighter, when she caught herself smiling without meaning to. And that scared me, she said softly. Jake raised an eyebrow. Scared you? Yes, Eleanor nodded. Because I thought being happy meant I was leaving him behind. She looked at Jake carefully. I learned something important. Happiness doesn't erase love, doesn't cancel loss. Jake leaned back, letting that sink in. But, he said, what about when life keeps throwing bad stuff at you? When plans go sideways? Eleanor smiled gently. That's the part most people get wrong. Most folks think happiness means nothing bad happens, she said. That's never been true. She explained that even after she changed her mindset, life didn't suddenly play nice. Bills still showed up. The kids struggled in school. Some days grief hit her out of nowhere, like getting the wind knocked out of her chest. The difference, she said, was how long I stayed down. Instead of telling herself my life is ruined, she started saying this moment hurts. Instead of I can't handle this, she said, I'm having a hard day. It sounded simple, but it changed everything. Your brain believes the story you tell it, Eleanor explained. So I stopped telling it stories that trapped me. She also stopped comparing her life to everyone else's. No more watching neighbors with 2 parents and perfect lawns and asking why her life didn't look like theirs. Comparison is a joy killer, she said flatly. It makes you blind to what you still have. Little by little, Eleanor focused on what she could control, showing up for her kids, taking care of her health, letting friends help instead of pretending she was fine. She laughed again, real laughter, the kind that catches you off guard. Jake nodded slowly. So, happiness isn't about avoiding pain? Exactly, Eleanor said. It's about not letting pain decide who you become. He stared at the porch floor for a moment, thinking about his own life, missed chances, stress, the constant pressure to have everything figured out. But what if something really bad happens again? He asked. Something you can't fix? Eleanor's voice softened. That's when I remind myself of one truth that's carried me through the darkest nights. She leaned forward slightly. Nothing lasts forever, she said. Not the good and not the bad. Jake didn't realize it yet, but this was the moment his life quietly split into before and after. Jake felt those words land heavier than he expected, and he had a feeling they were about to change how he looked at everything. Jake didn't say much as Eleanor finished. He just sat there quiet, like someone rearranging a cluttered room in his head. After a while, he stood up, thanked her, and headed home, but her words stayed with him. Over the next few weeks, Jake tried what she had told him. Not perfectly, not every day, but honestly. When work stressed him out, he stopped assuming his whole life was falling apart. When plans went sideways, he looked for one small thing that still went right. Some days that thing was meaningful. Other days it was barely anything at all. Slowly, he noticed a shift. Life didn't suddenly become easy. Bills still showed up. Stress didn't disappear, but the weight of everything felt lighter. The bad days no longer defined him. They passed. Word spread through the town in a quiet way. People noticed Jake's calmer attitude than they noticed Eleanor's steady presence. More neighbors stopped by her porch, not to complain, but to talk, to listen, to remind themselves they weren't alone. Eleanor never tried to be a teacher. She just shared what life had taught her. Happiness isn't about having a perfect life, she'd tell them. It's about choosing where your attention goes when life gets messy. Over time, the town itself felt different, kinder, slower. People complained less and appreciated more. Not because life changed, because perspective did. Eleanor stayed the same, still sitting on her porch, still finding one good thing each day, even when the day was rough. Life will knock you down. Loss will come. Hard seasons are unavoidable, but happiness isn't something you wait for. It's something you choose. one small moment at a time. So now, let me ask you this. What's one small thing that's still okay in your life today?